Number 7 is asking us to factorize x squared plus 4x plus 3. The AC method, which is something I touched on when I answered number 6, I told us that the AC method involves finding two numbers that when we multiply them together give us AC, and when we add them they give us B. And so in this case, A is 1, the coefficient of x squared, which is just 1, B is plus 4, and C is plus 3. And so AC would be plus 3. And so we know what AC is, and we know what B is. So now we're looking for two numbers that when we multiply them together would give us plus 3. When we add them, they'll give us plus 4. Now let's quickly do our chart. What we do with this chart is just we write a number, the two numbers. So for example, for 3, we can say negative 3 and negative 1. Minus 3 times minus 1 will give you plus 3. But minus 3 plus minus 3 plus minus 1 would give you minus 4. And that's not what you want. So the next one you would think about maybe would be 3 and 1. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4. That's B right there. We found two numbers that when we multiply them together, they give us plus 3, and when we add them, they give us plus 4. And so we take those two numbers, which are 3 and 1, and we put them in the brackets that we have below. So x plus 3 and x plus 1. Those are the two brackets we get when we factorize. If you were to multiply x plus 3 times x plus 1, you would get x squared plus 4x plus 3. That's how we solve number 7. Number 8 is similar, and it's talking about x squared minus 3x minus 18. So x squared minus 3x minus 18. Now AC in this case is equal to minus 18. When we multiply the coefficient of x squared, which is 1, by negative 18, we get negative 18. And B is minus 3. And so we're looking for two numbers that when we multiply them together, they would give us negative 18, and when we add them, would give us minus 3. And so when you look at negative 18, it has several factors. As a matter of fact, you can draw this chart quickly and divide through by the smallest numbers and see the multiples of you can see the multiples and factors involved. 2 goes into negative 18, we have negative 9, and then 3 goes in and we have negative 3, and then 3 goes in and we have negative 1. Of course, you can say negative 1 goes into negative 1 once, but what I want us to see is that 2 times 3 times negative 1 will give us negative 18. And so when we are looking for the factors, we need to make sure we can play around with, like, so 2 times 3 is 6. So we can say 6, and then the other factor will be 3 times negative 1, which would be negative 3. So 6 times negative 3 gives us negative 18, but 6 minus 3 would give us a positive 3. Now let's do it the other way around. Negative 6 and plus 3. Negative 6 times plus 3 is negative 18, but negative 6 plus 3 would give us a negative 3. Now this is what B is. So we know that the two numbers we want are negative 6 and 3. And it's important at this point to realize that what you need to do to find those two numbers is to look at what you get when you break negative 18 into smaller components and try and see what the different combinations of those will give you. So for example, 3 times 3 is 9. So if we wanted to see another factor, or two other factors, we could say 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And so 9 times negative 2 is negative 18, but 9 minus 2 would give you 7, which is not what you want. And so negative 3 is what you want, so you take the two numbers, and they're x minus 6 and x plus 3. Now let me add at this point that if they ask, if someone was to make this an equation and to ask you for the value of x, what you need to remember is that if x minus 6 times x plus 3 gives you 0, then it has to come back, the question would come back to a place where you see either this is going to be 0 or this is going to be 0. So that means x minus 6 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. And so if x minus 6 is equal to 0, x would have to be positive 6, because now we add 6 to both sides. Or if x plus 3 is equal to 0, x will be equal to minus 3. That means if x were to be 6, it will make this whole thing 0. or if x is minus 3, it will make everything 0. That's how you solve problems like this, if they ask you to solve for x, if it becomes an equation. But with the expressions, remember your AC method. It's very important. It's a very good skill and tool to use in math.